General nurses are dealing with health crises that are on the surface. They're visible, often they're external, and even if they're internal, you can cut into it and see it. Whereas mental health nurses, by definition, are dealing with stuff in your mind which is completely invisible. It is the only way of accessing that is through communicating.
I worked with this man called Graham. That wasn't his real name. He started to hear voices. He had strong paranoid beliefs that people were talking about him. He had to come into hospital, and the main way of actually helping overcome that loneliness and isolation as a result of his experiences was to really enter his world, to develop a shared model, a shared understanding of how these experiences shaped his beliefs and how that made him feel both emotionally and how he reacted behaviourally by avoiding a whole range of situations. It makes me feel really good actually, and it gives me a tremendous source of satisfaction that actually by relating to somebody, by understanding somebody, that you can actually empower them and help them recover. Without the benefits of professional help, Graham would still be stuck at home. He would still be experiencing rather distressing voices.
So what may sound like and look like just a very low-key conversation is often a very highly skilled therapeutic intervention.
I met Jo in a secure service, and at that time she was very unwell, and she was suffering from schizophrenia. She was very disturbed by voices. Eventually we got to a stage where her symptoms were under control. Sometime after that we were looking for an advocate for a new women's service, and Jo came to mind, and I recontacted her and asked her would she be interested, and eventually anyway she came to work with us. She said that's what kept her alive, that's what kept her going, that somebody had hope and a belief that actually things could get better. So I think one of the most important things is holding on to that hope for people when everything feels so hopeless.
I think one of the most helpful descriptions of how mental health nurses work with patients is about being alongside them. And that sounds almost passive and almost simple, but it is enormously demanding and complex and requires a whole batch of both professional and personal qualities.
There was a lady who had late-stage dementia. She was totally dependent with all her activities of living. You know, she needed feeding, she needed help with dressing, and she hadn't spoken for at least 10 years. She suddenly just spoke to me in the bathroom while she was in the bath. I was actually quite shocked, and she just said, "You've always been nice to me. You've always been respectful and lovely to me." She said, "I'll never forget you." And then she died 2 days later.
Well, for me, mental health nurses are really at their most heroic when I have gone into meltdown and I've just lost all perspective and all hope and all motivation, and I just want out. The extraordinary thing that they're able to do is bring me back round, so they can enable me to see things back in perspective and to feel optimistic that although things are rough, that they are copable with and survivable and ultimately enjoyable. Well, it's very unfashionable to say they're angels,